Good evening, guys. All right, so this is our active nutrition group. We are doing a book club, and we've all collectively gotten together and went, hey, let's read this book called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. So it's been really exciting. I've gone through a few chapters, and every week what we're going to do is we're going to talk about one chapter, what our experiences are, and how we're relating to it, and how it's helping us to get better. Because the blessing during this whole crisis and pandemic that we're going through is it's really an opportunity to level up in your mind and in your life. So chapter 1 is all about what is the 10X rule. And basically what I got from that is it's a certain way of thinking, so that way you can achieve a goal. So if you take the multiple of 10 times the level of effort that's required to attain any goal, you're going to hit your mark, and you're probably going to punch straight through it. So who do we have on the call tonight? We have Kawi, who's dialing in from California. We got Brother Evan Rhodes, Hawaii. We got Wayne Marita, also Hawaii. And dialing in from the Philippines, we got Joy Guzman. And then we have Ryan, who's dialing in from Hawaii. And then we got yours truly. So, all right, guys, let's tee this thing off. I'm just going to go right around. What did you guys get? What was the biggest takeaway that you had from chapter 1 of Grant Cardone's 10X rule? And I'm just going to go right around how I see it on the feed. So, Callie, you're up first.
All right. So, basically, my take from chapter 1 is you put 10 times more work than anybody else. That's what you're going to reach your goals. Don't also not to cut yourself short from your goals. Like, don't set yourself too low to where you're like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. Like you'd rather want to do go overboard and not reach it than shoot too low and not overreach it and feel like, oh yeah, I got this. So yes, that's what I got it.
Most definitely. So I mean, what's exciting about that is I think that probably every one of us has had a point in our life where we've undershot the goal, and we've experienced what it's like to not feel like we matched up with where we felt we should have been. Yes. So do you have an experience that you don't mind sharing with us?
Yeah, actually I could come up with a hell of a lot, actually. And it's kind of funny because while I was reading it, I was like, man, this is definitely me. So one experience is definitely sports. For me, being athletic in high school, I was thinking, hell yeah, I could do that. So I ended up not going out. Basketball was my sport. Rugby is my all-time favorite sport, but they didn't have that in high school. But basketball was definitely my sport. Did I go out and try to do and play it? No, not until my senior year. And I didn't make it. I thought it was damn, that sucks, because, it would have been good to do it my senior year, but it was because I didn't take action. I didn't take action. Didn't take action from middle school, elementary, when I was actually playing. My 9th grade year, didn't go out for the team. Didn't go out until my senior year, and that's why I didn't end up going and trying to be the Stanford and USC player that I wanted to be, So yeah, that was definitely mine.
Wow. That's definitely something that I could relate to 100%. Yeah, and I'll share a little bit more on that later, but that's cool. We're gonna come back to that. So hold that thought. Evan, how about you, man? You're up. What was the biggest thing you got?
For me, sports is always it's hitting on the sports note. It's always a good life parallel, because I played a lot of sports, and a lot of times to be good at something was pretty easy, but to be exceptional at something took a lot more work. So to be exceptional in a sport that a lot of the guys were taller, a lot of the guys were bigger, they had more leverage, they were younger, things like that. What I found was that even though I thought I was doing enough work, I really wasn't doing enough work. Whether that was, you know, and I believe that to be true, because until I started doing work that was way above and beyond what everybody else was doing, I really didn't catch the look of the coach and or the other guys on the team. So that was the physical side. So he talks about like 10x action, but he also talks about 10x mindset. And so the 10x action part, I think a lot of people might be like, well, I can do 10x the numbers. You know, if they're willing to do the numbers, it's like, okay, make a decision and do 10x the numbers. But then the mindset of having a goal that's big enough, because I've had experiences where I set a goal that I thought was attainable, and then I hit it, but then I kind of got stuck there because there wasn't anything else to go to. So my progression stopped. So to have a goal that's 10x, and then to match that with action that's 10x is one of the biggest things that he talks about in this chapter, and what I could personally relate to. Yeah, man.
Most definitely,
so
man.
relevant.
Yeah.
Super.
Totally. Yeah, so I remember I had shot for a goal. I thought I was applying the right amount of effort, you know, and I fell short. And this was me in my football career. I had always wanted to be star quarterback. I was the starting quarterback, but I wasn't the star quarterback. And a lot of it was because I underestimated the level of effort that I needed to put in order to be the star quarterback. How many reps were you doing throwing a football? How many times were you out there on the field later than everybody else, putting in work, showing them that you're the leader? And then, you know, just stuff like that. So, dude, I can totally relate, man. That's powerful.
Yeah, man. And there's a lot more good stuff in this chapter too. It's packed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. We're just scratching the surface right now.
Right.
All right, Wayne, you're up next, man. What was the biggest takeaway that you had from chapter 1?
Besides what Corey and Evan talked about, I vividly remember he set some examples where, you know, successful people, they keep working, you know, and he put that example about, you know, taking care of your grass. You know, you don't just cut it once, right? It grows back. So you got to maintain it. So that really hit me. As far as like what Evan and Corey were talking about, as far as goals, I never had goals growing up. I was, you know, had a drinking problem, and then I started playing music. So that was my goal. I got to add that. I wanted to make it big in music, you know, and I would practice, but then I didn't want to learn certain things. You know, there's certain things that, looking back, it was like, I don't know if it was pride or I don't need to learn this, so I didn't do that. I didn't pursue certain things. But yeah, so I definitely I learned a lot from listening to that. Chapter 1? That yeah, you get that goal. You a lot of people give up on that. You know, they give up. You know, reach high enough, and yeah, that's definitely what I definitely didn't do. You know, I also had I don't want to, I also had a drinking problem, so that kind of stopped me down. But yeah, so it's a learning experience.
For sure, man. And I say that your story is definitely one that's special, and it's incredible, especially with how you bounce back and just, really taking the bull by the horns. And, you're unconsciously applying this whole 10X mindset of like, you got to get it done. You're going into action. So that's really great to see. And it's interesting, right? That, we talk about, we all had like a big goal somewhere, right? But then what Grant talks about is, he's like, hey, if you start making concessions and compromises for where you set your goals, you kind of unconsciously start lowering your self-esteem and where you think you can amount up to, right? So and then over time, what happens is, it becomes your crutch. But dude, for you, no way in hell you just kind of punch through that barrier and you're like, hey, I'm coming out on top. So super inspiring to hear that. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing. How about you, Joy? You're up.
How? So what I learned from 10x is about goals, right? So any goals is when you set it, it's difficult to achieve. So we're always like thinking that it's not difficult. So we always need to work, effort, and persistent to reach that goal. So it's like for me, because my experience is like I thought of like when I hit this, it's like it's done. But what I learned is you need to do things to achieve that. So that's it. I think so.
For sure, for sure. So that's kind of cool in itself too, right? So was that the big takeaway? Just like setting goals and how to achieve them? Do I have
Yes.
that right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm gonna come back to that because there's a point, and I want everybody to be able to share the stuff that they got. I don't want to just keep letting out all the nuggets. But how about you, Ryan? What was the one thing that you got out of that after watching?
For me, really is like as what Evan said, right mindset, which is that's really my biggest thing is like I gotta put my mind on the right mindset. So like not overthink everything, just stay focused on what the goals that you want to go to, like like go through it. Don't ever like just go sideways every time, like you always think of something else. So think yeah, so like what I like maintain that success and create new levels every day. That's what really what sets, like when I heard that I was like, yeah, I was like every day you woke up, like every day what do you do, like what do you do to make your day better, or what do you do to just make your day be successful and don't get you into that sidetrack again, like with the right mindset and just be that maintain that success. That's like my biggest thing that I've really gotten on in this chapter one so far.
Totally, and that's
Awesome.
pretty cool. Evan, you got something too.
Yeah, I gotta before I forget, like, 'cause it's like it's about the individual's happiness. It's about that person's. It's about the person, me.
Yeah.
It's my dream. It's my goal. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's not
that's
about
good.
it's not about competing with anybody.
Yeah,
It's about competing here with
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
And then it's hard because you're doing a lot of work and numbers and stuff, but it's all in essence with what brings you peace, excitement, joy, love, laughter, happiness, whatever the goal may be. And that's part of 10X too, is like,
Yep.
you're not competing with anybody else but yourself.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Oh, you just hit that right
that
on
was
the
like,
target.
dang, somebody dropped
Right
Forrest
on the
Gump on me.
target.
Oh, Forrest
Man,
Gump.
like, boom, skis. Here we go.
So that's so funny. Oh, go ahead, Kali. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, only to add to that, like, also, like, only you know your potential. Only you know your potential, and only you know if you are setting yourself short, like selling yourself short, or if you are actually making the act, like taking actions. Massive thoughts needs massive actions. So yeah.
Constantly
Oh,
maintaining.
yeah.
Yep. So I'm gonna tug on two threads on this because Evan said it, and then Ryan, you said it, but I'm gonna talk on Evan's first because I need to jog my memory real quick. I tend to do this. I have the thoughts, and then it's fleeting. So just like Evan, sometimes I gotta get it out.
Yeah.
So, Evan, on yours, when we're talking about competing, right? So I think Grant talks about that, where it's like, it's not about the competition with everybody else, because when you're doing this and you're expanding your vision this way and you're looking at what everybody else is doing, all of a sudden there's like a mindset sabotage that happens there, because all of a sudden it's like, well, if you're someone that, has always lowered the bar and you're learning how to raise it, if you start looking at someone that's already raised the bar on their lives, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I gotta be just like him or just like her. And then you end up like shooting yourself in the foot, because then you're like, well, I'm gonna hit that eventually, but where I'm at on my journey right now, I'm working towards that. So then we talk about the competition within ourselves. And like what Evan was tugging on was like, you know, your happiness, your goals, whatever it is that you want, you dominate that. It's not just a competition for you, but you're dominating yourself into a point where you're just, hey, I'm totally out of this realm and mindset that I thought I was in at one point. And now all of a sudden, I'm looking up. I'm looking towards the future. I'm excited about what's to come. And nothing is making me feel fearful anymore. So that was something that I thought was really, really interesting about chapter 1. So, and thanks for plugging on that thread, man.
And the thing too, it's like, you know, like if we're like this and we're focused on what we want, and then like there's always going to be the naysayers, a family member, somebody that's competing with you, you know, and wants you to compete with them. That's like, come on, let's just do this and like compete. But then for me, what happens is I get the emotions take over, you know, and once I get emotional, then I start losing focus of stuff. And so that's when I start getting sidetracked, you know, so, or like if people start saying, I heard something recently, when a bomber flies over its target, that's when it gets the most flack. So you're catching all this flack because you're over the target, you know, you're onto something.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So tugging on the target thread, right? So when we talk about setting targets, you know, what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make when setting goals? I've heard some of it throughout the call so far. One of them was making concessions for yourself and your goals and compromising it. So a common thread that I've run into personally. So I've operated as a manager in a few different roles before, and in one of my roles, we had a big project that we were working on, and it was all about volume of numbers that you get done, right? So you know, for everybody that starts dialing in and listening, you know, we're talking about the 10X rule, Grant Cardone, you know, we're talking about like how goal setting and how mindset applies and taking massive action to achieve what you want. So what we had was a quota of numbers that we had to hit every single month, right? And the managers set the target. So at the beginning of the month, and this is all electrical lighting fixtures, right? So I set a target. I was like, okay, by the end of this month, we're going to hit like 10,000 fixtures, right? And it's like, okay, cool. But what's the common thing that happens with a lot of managers? Well, once we start hitting the end of week 1 or week 2, or let's just say week 1, the numbers are short and you know it's short. And now all of a sudden you're like, now I either got to push my team or I got to lower my standards, right? And then we find that 9 times out of 10, when we're not hitting that benchmark and we keep making those concessions, we're not just impacting the morale of ourselves and how we view goals, we're impacting the morale of our team and how they look at their own goals. Because then all of a sudden it becomes a reverberating effect. So you drop a pebble in the water and then you get all the ripples, right? So what was happening was I would lower the standards, like, okay, guys, for 2 weeks in, we're not going to hit the number. Let's just do the best we can. Why don't we just drop it down to like 7,000? And I'll just take the blame this month. And that's what I did. And every time, and it was funny because my cousin was my boss. He's like, hey, what's this? What's going on? And I'm just like, hey, you know what, man? I dropped the ball on that. I didn't plan properly and I took the hit. But the approach that I probably should have taken was, screw that, guys. We said 10,000. We all agreed to it. We knew that if we hit our quota every single day, we'd be able to do what we wanted at the end of the day. We didn't hit that quota. We got to hit it. We got to step it up. We're selling ourselves short. So then it would have held them to a certain standard of accountability where everything that they would touch from that point on would always be pursued with excellence. And they would always achieve.
Did I lose audio on Austin? He went like the different speaker.
Did I? Can you guys still hear me?
Or was it me?
It's a little iffy.
It changed. Yeah, we can hear you.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, like while he's fixing that, it's like for our line of work, what we all do, it's an individual thing. It's individual goals. In Austin's workplace, where he was a manager, that was like a corporate thing where they had corporate numbers. Where with our line of work, it's individual goals, but yet we all know that if we don't do a certain number, our own business isn't going to grow the way that it should or could.
Yeah.
And so people, it's a mindset thing. It's hitting that number.
Yes.
Yeah. So the big one there was like mistargeting and then making concessions, right? So
Yeah.
what was somebody shout something out? What was another mistake that Grant talked about with setting goals?
Oh, so I got one. So when people don't set high enough goals or high targets, they end up going and choosing to do the like get rich easy games. They go to like that's kind of one. And I was like, wow, that's kind of true. Like for people that aren't taking actions and aren't doing the work 10 times as much as anybody else, they really do take the easy way out to try to get fast cash, fast money. Like, it's crazy.
So kind of like with that, if I can add in,
Totally.
Like how you have like people with weight loss, for example, right? They want to lose 30 pounds, but they don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to change their diet to the point or do the right activities to the point where they're going to get the result.
Yeah.
So they don't understand the type of commitment or adversities or challenges that are going to come up. So then they give up.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something that they're willing to freaking go for.
Yeah.
Or the reasons why they're doing it, possibly.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it all the time,
For sure. And then those people that are looked at as like successful and have made it and have done the work to be up top, where everyone's like, oh, I need to be you, I want to be you. It's like they're already at the point where this isn't a job for them. They're just happy to do it. And for the most part, they're the humble ones. They really are the ones that are trying to help uplift everybody else. So it's kind of crazy how with goals and you like setting yourself up and getting there and hitting it, you really do like, it really becomes something like passion for you,
Absolutely.
You know what I thought was kind of interesting in that chapter too, when he gave the definition of success, like in medieval times. Like in medieval times, succeed, the root word is succeed, right? Or to seed, like to take over. Like when a king is overthrown, the successor is the next person and he takes over. So the root word of success is to succeed. And then he was talking about like at different stages of life, there's different levels of success. So for like a 6-year-old, it's like, I just want my chocolates,
Right.
I just want candy. I'm a success if I get like my candy or my bike or whatever. And then it goes into like, I just want to graduate from high school or from college. I want to get my degree. Then I want to get my career. And then it gets, then at end of life, it's like, what's my legacy? My life well lived.
Yeah.
I just want to add something about what you said about losing weight. So many people they go to the gym and then they go once a week to get body sore. They don't do consistently to lose
That's a good
to
one.
reach their goals. So that's one of the 10x. So if you really wanna reach your goals, you need to do 10x, 10 times on that. So that's
Yep, yep, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then also, to add to what Wayne said, he had brought up the point where Grant talks about once you become successful, to always keep going and keep working. And then from what I also took from that is, if you stop trying to succeed, it's like you're living off the last breath of your life. You know, it's like
Seriously.
you really are. Yeah, it's like if you reach, like if you set a goal and then you reach it and you're kind of just like, oh, what now? You really didn't set yourself up high. Like you should always feel like, I don't know, like if you do not feel good by the end of that goal, it wasn't high enough. You did not. You're setting yourself way too short.
So and the cool thing about that, right, is like, you know, once you hit the goal, like how you talked on earlier, right? You were talking about like the successful people at the top, right?
Right.
The only difference between people that are, you know, still coming up and trying to chase their success and the ones that have accomplished it is ties right into that. They hit the goal, and it wasn't for any other reason other than seeing if they could surpass what they did before.
Right.
It was just like, well, I got this far. And then they look up and they go, that's interesting. I wonder if I can hit that. And then they start planning on how they're going to get there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? You know, calculating the level of effort. And when we talk about the level of effort, it's like, how much action am I going to have to take every single day to get to where I want to be? What challenges am I going to run up against? Who's going to be my opposition, right? Like, because it could be the people that are closest to us, which 9 times out of 10, those tend to be our biggest adversities. You know, they're like, hey, well, why are you doing that? And they question because they don't understand what our frame is. They don't understand how we're operating. And that's okay because our journey is our own. We're pursuing excellence in our own way. And it's like, it's not for you to understand. Watch me. And just keep on climbing, keep on climbing, keep on climbing.
Yeah.
Take the next breath. The next breath of success. I love
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and I think he said that, right? The only thing that's the only thing that's the most important in your life is your next breath, because you already took your last breath. If you don't take your last breath, you're gonna stop existing.
Yeah. He also says, you know, limiting yourself leads to failure.
Yeah.
Like limiting
100%.
yourself leads yourself to failure. Like it's crazy because it's true, you know?
Being complacent, being too comfortable, not taking the next breath or a half breath or a quarter breath. It's a slow death, man.
Yeah.
Slow suffocation.
Yes. And once that you accomplish everything, at the end you will be happy, right? So that's the main thing.
So and that's a cool thing, right? Like, because for like how we've talked about multiple times here, is like for everybody it's different. You know, someone might be content with like, hey, you know, let's just use schooling for example. I achieved my associate's degree. I'm good with that. And you know, that's their goal. That's what makes them feel good. That's what makes them feel complete. And you know, the only thing that I would say to that is, what's next for you? You know, what do you want to do now? Now that you've accomplished this, is there some other avenue that you'd like to explore that would be appealing, that would challenge you, and that would excite you? Because for some reason, achieving the associates, it's an accomplishment, but it stopped exciting you. So you stop putting in the effort, right?
Right.
You stop chasing the goal.
Yeah. I think another I think another good one that I got was and I think this applies to everyone on this call and everyone around the world, is you either live to live your own accomplishments and dream, or you're used as a resource to accomplish somebody else's dreams. And I was like, holy cow, ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, because honestly, I for me, like I was a manager and I would be running circles around my people. And I wasn't making any of their their tips, their money that they were making. That didn't come to me. I got the hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. If even that, you know? But it's true, man. You either out there making your own dreams happen or you're being somebody's slave.
Bitch. Oh, sorry.
No, hey, you know what? I didn't know that we could be saying that. But if that's the case, hell yeah, you're gonna be somebody else's bitch and making their
You know
dreams come
what? We're keeping it real.
true.
And it's the truth, right? You're either chasing your dreams and your goals, or you're serving somebody else and living up their goals and dreams, right?
Yep. And I think that's why
So I love
we
that.
do what we do.
Yep.
Yes.
And there are so many. Go ahead.
Nope, that's all you.
So oh, okay. So there are so many parallels to that statement that he made in there, right? So, you know, guys like Jim Rohn have said stuff like that before, where they're like, hey, you're either building your dreams or you're building someone else's. So why not work harder on yourself than you do your job? Because at least when you work on yourself, you're investing in yourself, and you're going to create a
Yeah.
fortune for yourself in the long run, because there's so much wealth and knowledge in investing in yourself, in feeling good, in achieving personal goals. And yeah, that list just goes on and on. So I love how there's a parallel and a touch point there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, is there anything that we missed from chapter 1? Because, I love it, and, I definitely like to go around and just ask everybody, what is one thing that we could add value and offer everybody that's going to be listening in on this? What can they take away from this to improve and, better plan their goals, or help them to better achieve it, or eliminate limiting beliefs that they thought used to exist because they're only set by previous situations that have happened where they've made concessions for themselves. So for me, it would be, when you set your goals down and you write them down, it's okay to dream a little. Stretch your mind a bit and put it down in a way where it's something that you feel like is just out of reach. Because if it's just out of reach, that's where it's going to excite you and it's going to pull you towards that goal. So that'd be my thing.
For me, first of all, you need to think there's no problem with you, and just like you said, set up your mindset and set up your goals and try to achieve everything that until you get it. You know. So that's only
100%.
I can share.
I think for me, what I would tell people is take unreasonable action. Take unreasonable action, because when you do set that goal right outside of your reach, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need to take unreasonable actions with your massive thoughts, and then pure domination mentality. Be a model. Like, be a model. That's all.
Right.
It's really what it is, man.
Yep.
Exactly. The example.
Nice. Love that.
Be the
All right, go ahead,
example
Wade.
so everyone is going to follow
Yeah,
you.
so I want to add what Austin, like wherever you're at now, if you're happy where you are, then are you really happy? Or there's something else that you want, and then there's nothing impossible. You just keep striving for that goal, and there's nothing impossible. That's pretty much all I have.
Nice. Well said. How about you, Ryan?
Like for me, wise, like set that goal, even though it is really high. Just take that little step at a time, because those small little step goals will make you like, okay, so next one and another one and another one and another one. And finally, once you reach to that goal, you'll finally be happy and you'll finally realize, okay, those small little steps really did make a difference in me, because without those small little steps, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So like, that's like,
That's
that's what,
powerful,
uh,
man.
like, that's just where like I want to be.
That's
Like
powerful.
small little steps, but like, even though it seems so high, but I will get there and I will definitely get that goal done.
100%. So many milestones that help to build momentum and consistency
Yeah.
towards achieving the big prize.
Big prize, yeah.
That's what's up. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I would add into all of, because everybody's talking goals and massive action and stuff, and that's all in the book. And everybody's got their different goals, so it's got to be something that makes you excited. So if there's no emotional attachment to that big goal, then you're not gonna, people won't be willing to pay the price. If it's just more money, but then there's no excitement to that, there's no like, well, more money and freedom and perfect health or whatever, something that's gonna pull, like Austin said, it has to have an emotional pull that is strong in order to take that kind of action and to face those kinds of fears. Because you will be scared, guaranteed, guaranteed. And then to have faith in that whatever action you're taking is going to produce results. It may not happen overnight, like Ryan said. It's steps. If the road's going to be bumpy, but along that bumpy road, you're going to get skilled and you're going to grow, and just stay focused.
Yes.
Woo! Love that. That was good. Right on, guys. So massive action covering what is the 10X rule for chapter 1. So I really want to say thank you, everybody, for being on this first book club recording. I love this. We all understand that, you know, as people, entrepreneurs, or anything that you're doing in life, you have to grow yourself personally so that way you can level up in life. And remember, this whole situation that we're in, this is an opportunity to level up. So we hope that you found this useful, and I'm going to offer you guys something special. If you like this and you found a lot of value in this, feel free to comment below or send one of us a message, and I would be happy to give you my top 5 things that I do to set goals and crush it. So that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing evening, and we will catch you later. Aloha from the Active Nutrition Group.
Aloha.
Awesome.